We're live. Hey, buddy. Hope everybody had a good Christmas. We've got a few of you already up here. Sounds like fashion-forward mum was drinking at Christmas and broke her foot in 3 places. Good Lord. That sounds terrible. Are you in the past? A little bit. You can see puppies in the background there. We're weaning puppies. They are 5 weeks old tomorrow. And I put monetization on when I set feed up. I'm hoping that's not going to make us have adverts in the middle of this. If they are, I apologize. I think you can just hit the skip button if that happens. Okay. Let's see who's with us. Sonny Jones is with us from DFW. Willow Might is with us. Fashion Forward Mum's with us. Nacho Line's with us. Good to see you, Nacho Line. Fashion Forward Mum's got a boot and crutches. Yeah. Corey Niemeyer is with us. Good. All right. So I guess we're all now. You can see in the background. There's Pearl right there. She hasn't had her babies since this morning, though she's been handling it okay. I thought I'd start off by talking a little bit about weaning puppies. About when do you start doing it? What do you got to watch out for? How do we go about it? And maybe that's helpful for some people. So we typically wean our puppies something between 4 and 5 weeks. Sooner, for instance, if you had a mum has a failed milk and you're having to do all the work, sooner you can get it done, the better. 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks is about the earliest you could probably be successful at this. If you've got a mum who has got a really big litter and she's really suffering, got a weight being pulled down, completely blown her coat, getting skinny, then you might start that earlier as well. If you've got a mum who's aggressive to her puppies, when it's food's in there and she's sharing food with her babies, got to watch out for that. I did have one time that Pearl there did kind of growl at a puppy, so I paid attention to it, and that completely went away. It was just a one-time event. I think she was just tired a little bit, PO'd. So she's been with her puppies 24/7. She's been a wonderful mum. This has been an extremely easy litter for us, but still, it's time to get them to socialize and give them more room to play. When they're back there in that crate, there's just not a lot of room back there, and then we get to the point where they're running around and just needed more room. So now they've got considerably more room in this setup here. We all make that bigger. Typically, we make that about 2 to 3 times larger over the next few days. Why do we make it small to start with? Because there's a poop tray. Oh, scoot this camera down. You can probably see it there. There is right there. You can see the right down there. It's that white poop tray. You can see they're already using it. They've already actually done we had one poop in the wrong place. So we just placed it in the tray. But the thing about this is if you make the area not too big, then it tends to drive them towards the poop tray. And once they get the hang of that, pretty much you've got the whole thing fixed where you're not having to, pee pads these days, the large pee pads for this, you've got to have 4 pee pads. They're about $1 a piece. You can run up a heck of a bill on pee pads. Plus the general, we're lazy. So what we've got here is this green thing is a washable pee pad. I don't know where, Tami will come here in a moment. We'll find out where she buys those from. There's washable pee pads, one big one. We put pee pads underneath it because if they pee, it doesn't end up on the floor. It gets soaked up in the pee pad, and it just makes things a little bit more hygienic. But for the most part, what we find is that very, very quickly, they're just using the poop tray, and we might change out that washable green pad once every maybe 3 or 4 days. We'll see how it goes. But this, like I say, since this morning, this is their first time away from mum. Haven't been with mum all day, and they're doing fine. And I don't think mum minds it too much. I think that she's kind of liking the relief a little bit. So, okay. Let's see. So Fashion Forward Mum says, have you ever used Dine on a puppy before that has sugar drops? Before that, I'm not sure what sugar drops is. Tell me what sugar drops is, because I don't know what sugar drops is. Yeah. Yeah. Are the puppies in a hard time placing in today's world? No. I wonder why it keeps saying this message is being held for show it. That's it. We've got some weird stuff going on here. We'll put the show on those. Well, an example here is we've got a litter of 5 that are coming up on 10 weeks old. That's a litter of 3 girls and 2 boys. In that litter, a boy and a girl are sold. In fact, the people who bought the boy drove from Austin to here this morning, and they also picked up the little velvet, lilac velvet big rope girl as well at the same time. That puppy's not leaving yet. It's only 5 weeks old. They'll come back another 5 weeks. So we have a lot of our puppies go to repeat customers, people who have had a puppy from us and come back and like another puppy. So that was an example of that. I mean, it's great. I mean, hey, your best customers are your previous customers. They're the people who, if you've done a good job, they love your puppies and they say great things about you, which then has other people call you up, and then maybe they come back and buy another puppy or 2. We had somebody in a few months ago, actually bought 3 puppies from us. They bought 1 puppy from a litter, then they came back and bought 2 more. They got 3 of our puppies. That's great. That's great. Okay. Your mum back there in the cage is steady licking her cage. She's too cute. I can't tell what she's doing back there. I'm going to show you something on that while we're talking about that. I'm just going to go back here and grab this thing right here. So this is our whelping area. This is actually, we put this addition on. It's actually used to be a patio, and we enclosed it in glass and put some mini splits in it to keep it nice and warm and cool in the summertime. And I love this. So that cage is going down. That's great for letting mum out. It means that we can have that crate at our height when we're mucking around with puppies. You see it's going down slowly. For older people, it's great because they don't have to get on their knees to clean out and look after puppies. But even our daughter, who's 33, she's got one. She loves it. I really like this. In fact, while I'm talking about this, it's cold. Yesterday it was 80 degrees here in Oklahoma. Today, right now, it's 26 degrees. It's crazy. I was going to let mum out, but I think I'll make her wait. Anthony says, I wish I had it already working on getting my money together. I'm having to wash linens 5 times a day. Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly right. I mean, I think that I'm now going to go into my salesman mode. So, bear with me for a moment. I'm not going to do this for very long. If Tami was in here, we'd have another 10-minute discussion about poop trays. Here's the deal. What the poop tray does for you is, it reduces this situation where puppies are eating poop, because the poop falls down through the tray. They can't get to it. They try, they can't get to it. And it starts to break them with this habit they learned from mum of eating poop. It's a horrible habit, and it leads to potentially having, intestinal problems. So that's the first thing. Second thing is it reduces your time and effort on having to continually pick up poop. You know what it's like? You put a fresh poop. If they don't know where to poop, they poop indiscriminately. You put down, someone's pooped somewhere, they made a mess, you pick the whole pad up, put a new pad down. I mean, it's not 5 minutes later, somebody's pooped on another pad somewhere. So it stops you having to keep continuously clean poop up. And the third thing is, it saves you a lot of money. I mean, I was figuring this out just the other day. I figure that before we started having the poop trays, and we've got puppies that typically are going to be in this, under our care in this kind of situation for maybe 6 weeks, that in that time frame, 6 weeks, that's 50 odd days, that we are going to spend something in the order of $100 to $150 on pads, maybe more than that. So it gets to be fairly significant. All right. What do you recommend? George says, what do you recommend for a 2-week pup, Frenchie, that gets bloated when feeding on mum? So I've seen this occasionally. What can you do about this? And the answer is, if it's gas, there are things like Gas X that you can give. I've never done it, but I think Gas X, you better Google this before you decide that what James is telling you is right. But I think you can give Gas X. Maybe that might help the situation. Next one would be, is mum cleaning up the puppies? Is she stimulates them enough so that they can defecate and not get bloated? That'd be another thing. And number 3 is, hey, and this is just generally true, if a puppy is gaining weight and it's a happy puppy, I wouldn't do very much. Let them get on with it. So, you're limited on what you can do. If you've got to start stimulating puppies every time they eat, it's going to be a roaring pain. They're not getting impacted, if they're not getting constipated, let them get on with it. What do you recommend for sanitizing? This is a good question. This is from Shannon. Says, what do you recommend for sanitizing home and yard for coccidia? So the 2 things that I think you are going to have problems with, if you do much breeding, you're going to have problems with coccidia and giardia. Those things typically show up, and it's difficult to eliminate it. So what do we do? Well, first off, the only person who goes outside to start with is mum, and she is completely isolated from all of our other dogs. And we do that because we do not want her to get canine herpes virus in that period 1 month before and 1 month after whelp. If she contracts canine herpes virus, which is a very prevalent thing, and you wouldn't know she got it, because if she gets, 1/3 of all dogs have got canine herpes. Dogs that have contracted canine herpes, the symptoms are that they have what looks like a cold. You probably miss it completely. You probably wouldn't know it. And it's not a problem for adult dogs, but it is a huge problem for puppies if they get that while they are. So they don't get it in utero. They don't get it during the pregnancy. But if mum gets canine herpes virus, I'm getting off track a little bit, but I want to talk about why we isolate. Canine herpes virus, if a dog contracts it during, and it's only a one-time deal, because once it's had it forever. So the important thing is, if it contracts it, and its body sets up a defense for it while it is close to whelp or puppies are about to be born, those puppies can very likely get canine herpes virus, and then they die. So that could be a real problem. And then we put this down to things like feeding puppy syndrome. We don't know what's going on, and they actually got canine herpes virus. Typically, puppies that get canine herpes virus from mum at birth start dying in the next 24 to 72 hours. So that's one reason why we isolate our mamas from all other dogs. So we have outside this window you can't see off to the side here, outside that door right there, back there, that is a backyard. It's mostly concrete. There's a swimming pool back there, but there's grass too. No other dogs go back there, period. No other dogs at all. And no contact between her and any of our other females while she's got puppies. A few weeks before whelp and a few weeks after whelp, no contact with any dogs for her whatsoever at all. We just don't get canine herpes virus. The other reason for doing this is that you could bring in coccidia and giardia from your yard. So what can you do about this? I mean, I had an instance of parvo with some labs about 30 years ago. And what we did then is we sprayed the whole yard down every day with a solution of like 5 parts bleach to 1 part water. Sorry, other way around. 5 parts water, 1 part bleach. Grass loved it. Didn't hurt the grass at all. And we didn't have another occurrence of parvo. So, that's one thing. From what I understand, some of these things like giardia, they can stay in the ground for a long time and they're hard to get rid of. So the first thing would be not let other dogs back there to poop. Pick up any poop that your dogs produce, and isolate your dogs from any other dogs in the areas that they use to potty. That'd be the first thing. The next thing is to be aware of the fact that if you've got Giardia or Coccidia, it's time to start treating dogs. So how do you treat for that? And how do you decide which you've got? Because the treatment for Giardia is metronidazole, and it's an antibiotic. You can buy it without a script if you go to Amazon and buy things like Fishplex. You can, which is the same thing as I can't pronounce it, like metronidazole. You can, otherwise you have to have a script for it.